You're ready to film a video, sit down in front of your camera, press record, and immediately forget how to talk. Sound familiar? It's a scenario that almost everyone faces when they're first learning how to talk to a camera. You fidget with your hair or clothes, you make awkward direct eye contact with your camera lens. And when you do manage to get out some words, you end up sounding like a grocery store checkout machine. Hello, welcome to my video. Please scan your first item. It's very upsetting and demoralizing, and if it sounds like you, you've come to the right place. By the end of this video, you'll learn all of the actionable tips and techniques you need to go from making awkward eye contact to talking to your camera with confidence and ease. I'm Aprilynne Alter, and this is the Beginner's Guide to Camera Confidence. Tip number 1. Free talking. Similar to how in writing it's very difficult to start from a blank page, in filming it's difficult to start from complete silence. There is this technique called free writing to help writers overcome writer's block. While free writing, the author writes down their thoughts quickly and continuously, without any regard for form, style, or even grammar. Anything goes. It's just a way for them to get the ball rolling without getting in their own way. I like to do something similar when it's time to film a new video. I call it free talking. The premise is simple. When you're ready to film a new video, go to your setup, get positioned in front of your camera, and press record. But instead of launching directly into the content of your video, just talk. Ramble for a bit. Anything goes. You can literally start by saying, wow, this feels very unnatural and uncomfortable. I'm sitting by myself in an empty room, just talking to a camera that has no soul. If I look very deeply into it, I can see a mini reflection of myself, and that's unnerving. Keep the camera rolling and continue talking like this for around 10 minutes, or however long it takes for you to start speaking more naturally. Only then do you launch into the real content of your video, feeling a little bit more comfortable than you did before. I did this a lot when I was first starting out on YouTube, and I still do this now. The great part is that all of the rambly stuff in the beginning can very easily be cut out in the editing process. It's such a simple thing, but can really do wonders to get you more warmed up and speaking more naturally. Tip number 2, the Zoom method. At this point, most of us spend a significant amount of time on video calls. We have meetings with remote coworkers, or we're taking classes online, or maybe we're just hanging out with someone from a different state. Let's use that to our advantage when building camera confidence. You know when you're on a video call and you want to make it seem like you're making eye contact with the person that you're talking to, so you look into that little camera at the top of your laptop. We're already trained to talk while looking into our computer webcams. Well, you can actually hook up most cameras to use as your webcam for video calls. It's bonkers, I know. There's usually some sort of software that can help you do this, and you can usually get that for free. For example, if you have a Sony camera, you can download the Imaging Edge software for free. Just make sure your camera is set to the right setting, check out the Imaging Edge website for more specific instructions, then hook it up to your computer, position it where you want it, and select Imaging Edge as the video source on your computer. Now when you're in meetings or in classes, you can practice making direct eye contact to your camera. You're still in a live conversation talking to a real person, so it'll feel more natural than just sitting in an empty room by yourself talking to a camera. But because you're looking into your camera, you're building your camera confidence muscle and becoming more familiar with your camera. And as an added bonus, your video call quality will be significantly better than if you were just using a built-in webcam before. Tip number 3, name your camera. You know how kids will often name their favorite stuffed animals or blankets? It allows them to build a deeper connection with their named toy. You can do the same thing with your camera, building a sense of familiarity and kinship. It can help make it feel like you're talking to a real entity with its own personality, as opposed to a lifeless, soulless hunk of metal, plastic, and glass. It's not for everyone, but try it out. And then every time you go to record, just think, okay, it's time to go talk to Gloria. It might make things just a little bit easier. Tip number 4, be prepared. I don't know about you, but I'm not good at improv. Being prepared for your videos can take you a long way. Spontaneous speaking is hard enough without the added pressure of being filmed. The more prepared you are for the content of your video, the easier of a time you'll have on camera. You don't need to have everything scripted out word for word, but at the very least have an outline of bullet points of what you want to say. It'll help keep you on target so you don't ramble too much, and it's comforting to know that you have something written down to keep you on track, as opposed to staring at your camera with nothing to go off of. A little side note on bulleted outlines versus full scripts. To outline or to script. That is the question. Both methods can work, and it's up to you to decide what works best for you individually. They write down just enough so that they feel comfortable with what they're going to say, and then they just riff to the camera. This allows you to speak more naturally because you're not just reciting words off of the paper. On the other hand, some people work better off of scripts. That's what I do. I script out my entire video word for word. I'll read a line or two from my script over here, and then I'll look into my camera and say them, and then repeat. And then in my editing process, I cut everything together so that it seems seamless. Whichever method you choose truly depends on the person. I've tried bulleted outlines, but it just didn't feel very natural for me. My thoughts felt scrambled, and it took me a lot of time to figure out what I wanted to say. Sure, my video prep took a shorter period of time, but the filming itself and the amount of time it took to edit a final cut that actually made sense took much longer. Scripting feels more natural to me because I'm a stronger writer than I am a speaker. I can also write like I talk, so that when I do read off of my script, it still seems natural. To me, and hopefully to you as a viewer, it doesn't feel like I'm reading off of a script. It just feels like I'm talking. But seriously, this is what my script looks like. It's literally these exact words. Crazy, right? But that's just me. For other people, writing everything out might seem too formal or too forced. They may feel like scripting adds additional pressure to get every word correct. Scripting out your videos also means taking a lot more time for video prep, so take that into account as well. There are huge successful YouTubers who script out their videos, and there are huge successful YouTubers who just use bullets. There's no right or wrong answer here. I'd recommend trying both options to see what feels right for you. But anyway, back to camera confidence. Tip number 5, the mirror method. I love this one. Once you've prepared your video, whether it's a script or a bulleted outline, take the time to say your entire video into a camera. Start to finish, the entire thing. It helps take the pressure off because there's no camera pointed at you. It can help you better understand what to say and what dots to connect, especially if you're just working off of an outline. Then, when you go to speak on camera, it's not your first time saying these things. You've already said everything once before. It feels a whole lot better talking through something if you've already said the entire thing before. Tip number 6, look good, feel good. You know that study about students dressing better for tests? It found that those who wore clothes that they perceived as more professional performed better and had improved focus on tests. It's not because dressing up made them know the material any better, but it helped get them into the right mindset to recall the information. I'm not telling you to show up on camera wearing a 3-piece suit, but how you dress does affect you psychologically. An easy way to instantly feel more comfortable on camera is simply to wear something that you feel good in. Wear your favorite shirt, the one that you received compliments on. If wearing form-fitting clothing makes you feel more exposed, wear something a little looser. If you feel more confident with your hair done and your makeup on, rock it. It's a lot easier to feel confident on camera if you feel like you look good. It's worth putting the little extra effort into appearance if you feel better doing so. Tip number 7, get into the zone. There's a reason why so many movies feature inspiring speeches, cheers, and chants right before a big sports game. Rallying matters. If football players went straight into their games without getting hyped up, their performance would be lackluster.
Shift. Ravens respond.
The same can be said for filming. Take some time before you start filming to hype yourself up, to psych yourself up. Let yourself be silly, run through tongue twisters. Blast music on max volume and throw yourself a dance party. Whatever it is that you land on, come up with a pre-filming ritual to get you psyched up, jazzed, and ready to go. Getting into the zone before filming can do wonders for how you present on camera. Tip number 8, talk to just one person. If you've watched any other video out there giving advice for camera confidence, you've definitely heard this one before. Yes, it's advice that everybody gives, but I'd be remiss to leave it out, so here it is. When you speak on camera, don't focus on all of the people who may or may not be watching your video. This type of thinking can be intimidating. Of course you'll freeze up and be awkward. There are very few people in the world who feel comfortable talking to tens or hundreds or thousands of people at the same time. Instead, just focus on one person. Maybe it's someone you know. Maybe it's someone who's watched your previous videos before and said nice things. Maybe it's even a made-up audience persona that you've created for yourself. Whoever it is, try acting as if you're just speaking to them. If it's helpful, you may even print out a little picture and put it right next to your camera lens so that you feel like you're really talking to them. It can help everything feel a little bit more natural, like you're just having a one-sided conversation as opposed to giving a public speech. Last but not least for our camera confidence tips today, create a blooper reel. Obviously, this does depend largely on your niche and what types of of videos that you're creating, but if you're trying to build more of a community through your videos, include a little blooper reel to have your viewers get to know the more authentic, genuine you. No one's perfect. In fact, viewers are increasingly seeking out content that feels more real, more genuine, and less scripted. Creating a blooper reel also helps you with your mindset around having slip-ups while filming. Everything can be content, and the worse the slip-up, the funnier the blooper reel. Using this mindset, messing up feels almost encouraged. And whether or not you choose to include a blooper reel with your content, your mindset can be the same. Mess ups are truly not a big deal. That's the magic of editing. You don't need to be perfect on the first take, or the second, or the third. It's not uncommon for me to repeat the same sentence 10 times before I finally feel comfortable with that take. But you would never know it because it's all edited together in one neat little package. You don't need to be perfect, so take the pressure off of yourself. Have fun with it, be goofy, try new things. It'll all come together in post-production. And speaking of post-production, what exactly should you keep in mind while editing your YouTube videos? For the basics of editing for YouTube, check out this video. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, like and subscribe if you can, and I will see you in the next video.